match of the undefeated bracket here at Alliance Tournament 14. We will see Pandemic Legion take on the Tuskers in the last of a best of 3, where they slug it out for fortune and glory for a guaranteed at least second place position. That's 15 cruisers, 15 frigates, the skins that accompany them, and of course the Plex rewards at that level. It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
It is, yeah. This is, I mean, really, this is what we're all here for, right? We're down to the series. We're at a 1v1 in the series with some teams that have a pedigree, have some history. It's great. It's really good. I'm looking forward to this one.
Now we did see Pandemic in the corner come back, mastering that comp that we've seen other teams fly well, but not quite as successful all of the time. Clearly, Pandemic able to make the moves when it counts, hit the targets when they have to. We've seen Tuskers come and dismantle team after team, just plow right through as they are wont to do. What do we see in this final match, Gorion?
We're going to see, because this is the prize of the winner's bracket here. This is what gives you that extra win. It gives you a minimum, a very high minimum of prize ships. This is basically for today playing for all the marbles. So this is where, because both teams have one win, and this is what's going to be required to get into that winner's position in the next match. We're going to see, probably seeing some of the more interesting stuff. I would not be to see flagships. It's going to be nuts. I mean, just as PL got pushed in the corner, now everything's on the table. So I definitely think that we're going to see something very interesting.
Lebowski?
I think I basically agree. It's going to be kind of do or die at this point. I think that, like you said before, the one game advantage that you get in the finals is huge. It's really important. And then again, but you have to weigh that up against risking your flagship at this point when either way you're still in the tournament. So it's going to be really interesting, I think.
And of course, the winner of this definitely going to the championship. Championship, the best ship in EVE, but hard ship the most common. The bans coming out of this match from Pandemic Legion, the Guardian and the Oneros. From Tuskers, the Sleipnir and the Fiend. Again, Tuskers does not want to see that Fiend. As fast as you can, gentlemen, who takes it?
I'm gonna say Pandemic Legion.
Tuskers.
Wow, the desk is split. I'm ambivalent. We will go to the boys in the booth, Zarvox, Taral, and moderator, to comment on this, the final of the best of 3 series between Pandemic Legion and the Tuskers Co. on Alliance Tournament 14.
Both teams here are looking for championship. I am a very nervous moderator, joined by Zarvox Torval. Tuskers have brought a Typhoon fleet issue, 2 Bargas and Gnosis, a Hound, a pair of Purifiers, a Hyena, an Augur, and a Cruor.
And on the side of Pandemic Legion, we are seeing double Bargas, Scimitar, Drake, Orthrus, Hyena, double Caracal, Vigil, and a Merlin. Both sides warping in at range with the entire PL team warping in at 50. Some of the control frigates, the Cruor and the Hyena of Tuskers warping in at about 20. And most of their cores warping in at about 50. So what do you expect here?
I unfortunately think that Pandemic Legion has got the advantage off the bat. Tuskers is going to need to work away at the Scimitar or the Core if they're going to have any chance. Pandemic Legion choosing to primary the Hyena off the bat.
Ooh.
And they've already got Tackle on top of it.
Insta-web onto that Hyena from the Cruor.
Yeah, webbed from the other Hyena or
yes,
Cruor. Hyena has counter-webbed, but now it's going to be a little bit too late. He's already popped. Omniva is down off the field.
Instantly removed, but countered with the...
Immediately countered.
Instant Hyena drop, so perfect trade there.
Tuskers is going to have to try to keep up that Cruor, who's now being painted. Meanwhile, the Merlin has been tackled, and now he's dropped immediately. Tuskers is wasting no time in getting these rapid heavies on top of the Pandemic Legion support core. And I like that they're going to be choosing the Scimitar. There's some rep bots on top of him. He's going to be the primary, and another Purifier for Tuskers has dropped.
They seem to be really spreading their fire around. There's another, the Hound is also taking a lot of damage, being painted, and he's going to be also...
Yeah, no reps on top of that Hound with that
removed.
Pop immediately. The Augur's getting neuted. I like that as a choice for Pandemic Legion. Getting rid of the Tech 1 logistics is going to be not incredibly difficult.
If it's being capped out, they can just ignore it and work on the DPS.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Scimitar is at full speed, but he's being painted.
Wow.
Purifier for Tuskers is going down.
It's a lot of DPS now, about 1,500 DPS off the field from Tuskers' side, but really no DPS has been removed from Pandemic Legion.
Yeah, that Scimitar is just burning freely. There's no real tackle that Tuskers has except for that Cruel, who's got jams on top of him.
Yep.
And the
No
Caracal
control.
is now getting completely knocked out.
Wow, that was
Caracal
really
down.
quickly.
I'm surprised the Scimitar didn't get reps on him.
Boundary violation? Or?
No, not quite.
No, I'm just kidding.
Not every ship that Pandemic Legion is in fact due to a boundary violation.
Yeah, really? I mean,
That Augur now into about half armor. He's taking more and more damage. That Scimitar now getting a scram. So the Cruel or some other ship has gotten on top of the Scimitar, and he's now going to be scrammed. This is crazy. The Scimitar should never be tackled by any of these ships, burning around at more than 2,500 kilometers.
he was the one that warped in at really staying well away from the rest of from the Tuskers, but at the same time, the Augur on their side.
He's using all his ASB charges. The Augur will drop pretty soon, but the Scimitar will be falling also in short order.
If that's the way it goes, and the Augurer falls about the same time as the Augurer has already fallen, is this really an even trade? Pandemic Legion still with a big points advantage and a lot more DPS.
It's fairly even, but what Pandemic Legion has is they've got the shield tanking Bargas, who don't have a whole lot of mid slots if they're going for a lot of utility. Tuskers already taking damage on one of their Bargas. I like that call, but they need to drop the Scimitar far quicker. Scimitars.
They're spending a lot of time,
and they're spending a lot of time. He needs to drop way faster.
And we're going to see this Bargas going down almost as fast as the Scimitar finally now, with double webs, scram, paints, everything, and that XLASP of the Scimitar running out.
Yeah, this Bargas and armor Bargas only having 6 low slots for armor, not that great of a tank. He needs to be surviving way longer than he is. He might be nuded out, not able to run his hardeners, but now the Bargas getting primaried for Tuskers on top of Blue Melon, and Tuskers is just behind on the DPS trade. You can see the Pandemic Legion DPS bar is way up ahead.
Yep.
So the Tuskers, all their ships are now on ASB reload. The Fleet Typhoon's getting jammed out.
And now
Suleiman Shoah is dead.
Bargas
and I think
down.
with it, the dream of Tuskers going to the grand finals.
It really looks that way. I mean, is it going to be enough? They've got the Barghest of PL hard tackled themselves, but their DPS right now is all coming from a Floon and a Barghest, whereas on the side of PS, they still have 2 Barghests, an Orthrus and a Caracal. Far more DPS remaining on the side of PL. A big points advantage, more control. Sorry, about the same level of control, but looks like PL here is taking a bit of a lead.
Yeah, I like the choice of Pandemic Legion going for the Bargas instead of the Fleet Typhoon. The Fleet Typhoon having those 8 armor lows. Far more beefy, far more tank, better resist. Bargas is a good primary. Electronicus is
more
now
damage coming
pulling
off the
range.
Barghest.
You can see that the Tuskers attack bar is now going up as it appears Pandemic Legion's bar is now empty as their own ships are on reload.
Yep.
So it'll be critical to see if they can kill this Bargas before everything else.
I mean, even if they do, their own Barghest is going down, so it could be a 1-for-1 trade with these 2 Barghests, and Pandemic Legion is still going to have a lot more DPS on the field to mop up the remnants of the Tuskers, where Tuskers are really going to struggle to take down enough to equalize these points, being about 20 points behind. And if they are going to lose Latronicus, they're going to be far behind on the points.
Yeah, they need to kill Blue Melon far before they lose Latronicus, if they even can lose Latronicus, which they just can't really afford right now. This Cruor is doing a good job of getting tackle onto the next Barghest, but they need to have killed Blue Melon quite some time ago. And with that, kill is just going to go up another 21 points on Tuskers ahead. Tuskers is going to be down 19. They'd have to kill Dan Cool again to be up ahead, and I don't think a Fleet Typhoon and a Gnosis can really do it.
I mean, this Gnosis is very likely to be Lynx, no?
Yeah, almost certainly he's going to be Lynx. There is no other real reason to bring a Gnosis.
He's micro jumping around. Let's have a look. I mean, he has no weapons at all, yeah. So he represents a total of about 0 DPS, unfortunately. So the only DPS really left on the field, even though Blue Melon really looks like he might go down in the next 30 seconds or so, it shouldn't make much of a difference. Still,
well,
plenty
actually,
of
he's
DPS.
managing to pull some of his shield back. So maybe an ASB, or he's getting some capacitor back on top of him. So he's clawing back a bit. Eventually, this Fleet Typhoon is going to go on reload, but whether or not it will be enough to break through the core, unknown. It looks like there's no rep bots on top of Blue Melon, so Orthrus, Drake, Caracal, not exactly known for having a large drone bay.
Even if they take down this Barghest now, so if Tuskers take down this Barghest, that's an additional 21 points, so they're going to be up to 48. They're still going to be 19 points behind. So even if Tuskers can kill Blue Melon's Barguest and kill Dan Cool's Barguest, they're still going to be behind, even assuming they don't lose the Floon, which it looks like they in fact will. So it looks like PL really has too much of an advantage now to throw it away, unless, of course, boundary violations.
Yeah, and you can see this Typhoon of a Nuka. He's got all the tackle on top of him. He's not going to go anywhere. He's now down into Hull. Blue Melon may just survive in a bit of Hull being the hero of the Legion for this match. How do you feel about the Tuskers comp banning out the Sleipnir and the Fiend, not wanting to see the Fiend?
I mean, they didn't see it, but I mean, it really came down to the first moments there, losing their logistics ships early. The Scimitar of PL took so long to kill, and they lost all of their bombers.
Yeah, Tuskers now choosing to boundary violate all their ships. Sorry to cut you off, Larvox.
It's no problem.
And with that, we're going to go to the boys on the desk to break down why Tuskers didn't bring their flagship.
The temperature's rising. It isn't surprising. They certainly can. PanFam. Pandemic Legion advance to the finals of Alliance Tournament 14 as Tuskers go down. They will face off against WeForm Volta tomorrow, starting at 1500 Eve time here on Eve TV, home of the AT XIV. Pandemic Legion just really making it known that they are a tournament force, that they can control the match when they need to, rolling ahead and making great use of their pilots, of their tech. Brian, talk to me about some of those choices.
Well, you could see from the comp that they chose, Pandemic Legion knew that they were going to probably face something that was going to have a lot of DPS heavy support. And they brought a good counter to that with Caracals and other things that can really knock that down. And because of that, they were able to remove so much of the DPS off the field, and it kept their Logi long enough for them to make a difference in this match. And you didn't see that on the Tuskers side. Their Logi went down early, their support was taken out early. They just didn't have the DPS to make enough damage on the way out to come back for the point disparity. Tough luck, hard knocks. You know, it happens. I mean, the tournament, you can get almost to a point, a little bit of rock paper scissors going on here. But the most important thing is to guess that correctly, and then that's what the Pandemic Legion knew they were going to face. They saw the predisposition by Tuskers to come bring with that sort of DPS heavy support, and they were able to counter it very, very well.
Now, here's a question: Tuskers may be looking at this and saying, "Hey, we need a bit more time for these guys, but we can probably take Volta." And then going down into that losers bracket, going up against Volta, maybe them choosing to save their flagship for those fights. Is that a possibility, Lebowski? Do you think that they're metaing the meta?
I mean, maybe they've been listening to my terrible advice.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying before, there's definitely no, don't. There's definitely the possibility there. I think maybe they just thought that the comp they had would be enough, and they didn't want to risk losing that. They may have a comp that they want to bring later that the flagship is completely integral, and if they don't have it, the whole thing falls apart. But I think they on paper the comp they had looked okay, but as you said, they PL have shown before and again that they know the meta well and they know how to counter. It seems. The main reservation we've had with PL up to this point has been their consistency with their pilot skill and pilot choices, and this kind of just shows that if all that comes together as well as the pedigree that they already have with the meta choices and everything, then they can perform really, really well.
well, we'll get to see them perform again tomorrow. The final for Alliance Tournament 14 kicking off at 1700 Eve time, and that will be Pandemic Legion versus either Tuskers or Volta, depending on who wins the first best of 3 series, which is set to commence tomorrow at 1500 Eve time. Be sure to tune in to us here on Eve TV on Twitch in order to catch those matches. Don't miss a second of what are sure to be just incredible slugfests in New Eden, here in Jove Space, where slugfests are only annually present. Extremely rare, exceedingly rare. This type of action. Don't miss a bit of it. Also, please, if you have a chance and you're looking to read up on some of the action that's occurred already and some of the backstories on the teams that you see fighting in the Alliance tournament, cruise on over to Crossing Zebras. I've got a couple friends over there who are doing excellent work. Some of that work involves interviews with high-ranking officials here at CCP. Gentlemen of charm, of poise, of true character who deserve as much publicity as they can possibly get. You can follow them at CCP_antiquarian on Twitter. And yeah, hop over to Crossing Zebras, read up, take a look at what's going on, and tune in tomorrow as we work our way through the top 3 teams of this Alliance Tournament 14. Until then, I am CCP Antiquarian. On behalf of moderator CCP Lebowski, Chesser, Garayan Wasanar, and Vortex Terrell.
Nailed it.
Happy birthday, Proxy.
Fly free.